welcome. Um, Today we are having an open house where we do a lot of different services right here in Pittsfield. My name is Carla Moody, and I am the owner and therapist of Intuitive Spirit Healing Arts. And this is Joel Moody, who is the owner and instructor for Modig Internal Disciplines.
How y'all doing?
So today is our first open house of 3 for the summer, and this is our way to be able to introduce the community to our space, our healing space, and introduce you to us as practitioners. So what we're going to do is get into a little bit about who we are, what we do, our background, meaning where we studied, how did we get to this point, and then we'll go over the type of services that we offer, and how you can book them. So so let's get right into it. Okay. Want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, like I said, my name is Carla Moody. I am a licensed massage therapist right here in Massachusetts. I do a lot of different services in body work, such as integrated positional therapy. I'm also trained in Thai massage. I do therapeutic work, and I'm going to break down more of the massagey type things so you'll understand what the differences are. So therapeutic. I am also introducing, for parents out there, a modality called nurturing parent massage. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. I am also a Reiki master, so I do energy work, chakra therapy as well. Also on my repertoire, I am certified in Kripalu Yoga. And so I'll get into a little bit of the background of my training. So basically in massage therapy, I trained at the Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health in 2009, which was so fun because I got to stay there as I was training. And part of the last class of that, which was also very special for me, because I actually first went to Kripalu in December of 2001 and lived there as a volunteer. Followed that up with my yoga training. So, but anyway, in the bodywork portion of it, I got my massage therapy certification from Kripalu, and now I'm licensed in Massachusetts. So I do regular massage, what people call regular massage, but my focus is really on the therapeutic aspect. Like I could give that relaxing massage that when you're when you've gone on vacation and you just want to relax and let go and feel like you're at a spa. I do that too. But what's the most important for me is the actual benefits that come from being able to incorporate massage in your life. So especially now, life is very stressful. We're in some really odd times, and a lot of people are feeling it, and not just feeling it from what they see and really experience, but they start to feel it in their bodies, and they start to feel it mentally. And it's more of an exaggeration of what most people go through when you have a busy job and you have a busy family and you just have a busy life. And you're like, oh my goodness, I think I need a massage. And you go and you get that treatment. But in today's times, it's a little bit hyped more than usual. So to me, more than ever, being in this healing space is very important because I want to be able to open my doors for people who really need that release, who really need that break from the everyday. And so basically with massage, in case there are some people out there who may not really understand massage completely, but it really helps with, as you know, sore muscles, but it also helps with stress and depression and anxiety. So it has that mental soothness to it. And then when you have chronic pain from not so great habits, from injury, from the stress coming into the body, the massage really helps loosen that up. And what I love about what I do is that I also have the tools to give to you, so that when you get off my table, you'll know what to do afterwards to maintain that treatment. So, if you're constantly having a lot of stress up in the shoulders or around the shoulder blades, then I will guide you into, so we just did a deep or therapeutic massage on that. So here's some things you can do at home. So I'll give you that. And if you going through texting thumbs, so if any of you have subscribe to my blog, one of my newest articles is on texting thumbs. So I'll give you some homework to do to maintain, and how should you sit at a computer, or what smart things can you do on your smartphone to make sure that that is not a constant challenge for you. And as a matter of fact, I'm not sure if you caught the similar last name, but Joel is my husband, and I picked up on some things that he does with his smartphone. He doesn't text, he talks. So like, that's an option, instead of texting with your thumbs or your fingers all the time, you could just text your message. So so that's the piece that I do. I do the massage for the stress, for strengthening, for correction, giving you some homework. And so that's that part. So the body work that I do, so I do a modality called integrated positional therapy, which was brought to Kripalu by Lee Albert. So if when this is recorded, give a shout out to Lee. Was my co-worker as well as my teacher. And so basically, it's a very gentle but effective modality. It's just repositioning the body so that you're not creating that, you're learning new habits. We're talking about the modalities that I do, Carla Moody, of Intuitive Spirit Healing Arts. And we were just talking about the positional therapy, strain, counter strain, which is wonderful for helping, not just relaxation, but helping chronic issues. So that's a modality that I do. Like I said before, I'm also a Reiki master, so I do energy work. And to me, anything that I get into, I always look for the authentic. So I can actually say that the Reiki master that I ended up having she's the real deal. And so I ended up, actually both of us got our mastership, even though he's been doing Reiki a lot longer than me. So Reiki is wonderful for especially that mental strain and stress, but it can actually help for physical elements as well. So especially internal, because you're working with the energy. So being able to use the energy for healing is less invasive. It's very relaxing. It gives your body and yourself the time to just settle in and just let go, and knowing that you don't have to answer a phone or be social or deal with the kids in that moment. You just have that time for yourself, as your body does what it naturally does, which is to heal. Take that time. And then I'm actually going to turn this over to Joel, and then I'll get into the other things that we share together that we do. So,
hey everybody. So I offer classes in Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, and capoeira, along with a harder form of Kung Fu called Jiaoga. And the perspective I take in it is all of these are practices, are disciplines that really help to focus in the line. And I like to distill them in a sense. So the yoga, you can turn just about anything into a form of yoga, so long as it's mindful and sort of helping to harness the self. But yoga as a tradition, where it comes from, especially before Britain took over India and sort of rebranded yoga, that pre-classical era of yoga had a lot of things in it that were very intense, very rich, and transformative, which is why I really like to stick with that level of yoga, that form of yoga. When it comes to martial arts, there's some forms of yoga that they really try to make very sort of rough and tumble and strong and powerful, and it almost detracts from the true essence of yoga. And Kung Fu just does it better. I mean, it is a very powerful form of martial art that really grounds you. So if yoga in any way, especially on that level of yoga, makes you a little too expansive, the Kung Fu brings you back in and it keeps you here. As I like to tell my students, it's hard to float off into some intangible when someone's about to get you. So I love that yin and yang aspects, or ha and tha aspects of the yoga and the Kung Fu. And Tai Chi Qigong, if you're not unaware, Qigong, Qi is sort of an energy. You can also call it emotional energy, but it's an energy much like the force that moves through us and connects us to all things, everything. Tai Chi is a martial expression of Qigong. So using the Qigong fundamentals rather than, say, boxing, where you're working with kinetic force. There's overlap between, I mean, you'll see Tai Chi in boxing and you'll see boxing in Tai Chi, honestly, if you know what you're looking at. But my perspective, what I really like to push is to utilize these practices, especially capoeira, for reestablishing cross-lateral pattern of movement, for reestablishing healthy adrenal function, because that was something that I grew up with. Is my adrenals weren't firing properly, so I had irrational anger issues. But being the person that I am, I just stuffed them. I didn't really express them. But my internal dialogue, my internal world was extremely violent, but it would be very polar. It would go to extreme loving presence to extreme violence. And come to find out, a lot of it had to do with adrenals not being very healthy. And then by being passive-aggressive rather than overtly aggressive, I furthered the issue. And part of what was therapy for it, if you're familiar at all with cross-lateral pattern of movement in the body, it's not a hardware issue, it's a software issue. It's the way the brain wants to communicate to your body. And so the left side of the brain wants to communicate to the right side of the upper body on its way to communicating to the left side of the lower body. So there's this crisscrossing that happens. That's the crossing that lateral point, cross-lateral pattern of movement. And so when babies are crawling, that is how the first levels of that movement get established. So through your whole life, from baby to pre-adult, pre-teen, your movement is establishing that. And if that cross-lateral does not get established, or at some point if it breaks down, you basically get dyslexia. You get forms of ADD. There's hyperactive ADHD, hyperactive version of that. But even in just regular ADD, they said that I was having seizures, or that the potential is that I was having seizures. And in those seizures, we get to be having this conversation, and I just zone out, just completely check out. in my own mind, in my own head, it was almost as though my internal little fantasy world was more interesting than what was happening in the exterior, or at least I felt it more. So I involuntarily would just get pulled out, and it got to be a problem when I was around 16 and starting to drive vehicles. You know, you can't be pulled out of your body when you're driving a motor vehicle. So that's when it really sank in that I needed to do something about this. And so these practices, you know, the therapists for cross-lateral pattern of movement will employ something called the cross crawl. It's very simple. I don't know if you can see me here, but if you're lifting your left knee, you touch it with the right hand, and you just go back and forth like this. And that helps because your nervous system is sensing this crossing. And so by doing this, you're starting to even out between the sides of the brain and get it to communicate with itself better and to communicate with the body better, which is ultimately what you're trying to do by reestablishing that, is getting the brain to communicate to the body and vice versa in a clean, efficient, effective way. Now, the adrenals are a little different, but it's all part of the same cascade. It can be a synergistic upward or downward spiral. So the adrenals being back here, if you're walking in a healthy stride, there's twisting in the waist. That twisting in the waist, if you can see here, there's a gentle massage of the adrenals. Just like your lymphatic system doesn't move unless you move it. If you move the body, the lymph system moves. Simply the act of breathing deep and the chest moving is what pumps the lymphatic system around the skull. So there's different ways of moving that. This twisting gets the adrenals. And so our body mechanics, the way our society is built up right now, is we are training the breakdown of cross-lateral pattern of movement, and then are confused at how many people are being diagnosed with ADD. It's systemic. We've got it through everybody is ADD to some level in the spectrum at this point. And you'll notice, if you pay attention to your own stride but the people around you, how many people walk with the chest actually moving here. Not the arms like this, but the actual chest and the waist movement. You'll notice there's more people who aren't moving than are. And the people who are moving, chances are they do something athletic, whether it's dance or martial arts. They've trained this into their system. So one of my goals with Modig Internal Disciplines is to get these practices into the public school system as much as football, baseball, the traditional sports. Because you can do these things as groups. You can have a camaraderie that's peaceful while also exploring the extents of your physicality. And the great thing about capoeira, the Brazilian national art form, is, as well as Tai Chi and yoga, is you don't get concussions. So there's a big benefit there as well. But you still get the group, you still get the camaraderie.
You still get the skills.
And you get the cross-lateral established. So that's my goal with all of this, and I hope y'all are interested.
Yeah. So that's Joel's background. Heard a little bit of mine. And in this space at 42 Summer Street in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, we offer the massage therapy and the different types of body works, whether it's positional therapy, Thai massage, therapeutic, and also private yoga. I mean, we have a great amount of space to do private yoga. So if you just want to catch up on yoga so that when you go to that class, you're not focusing on, am I doing this right? How do I look? But you're getting the authentic kind of background to yoga, as well as corrections or the things that really makes yoga, as far as the asanas are concerned, a great benefit. And that way you can just tap in and just flow with whatever the instructor is guiding you through. But we also do the private yoga, both Joel and myself. We're both certified in yoga. We also use it as therapy. So if you've had that chronic hip issue, bad knees, bad low back, how can you use yoga to as therapy for that? And so we both do that, as well as we both do Reiki. And what's nice with where we cross over with the yoga and the Reiki is that there are different perspectives. And I will say, as those of you who know me, you've heard these stories before, but Joel is that if you've done a lot of yoga, you've gone to a lot of classes, and you're like, well, where do I go now? You're getting to a point where it's that next step. He can take you there because he's been there. He's trained there with, let's say Sifu, with Yoganand or Michael Carroll over at Kripalu.
Who, by the way, is an amazing teacher. If you've not met Yoganand, he's an American master for sure.
Yes, he is. So all the gifts that they have given us, because I also did Kung Fu as well.
Which, real quick, big shout out, because I got most of my foundational everything was from an individual who's watching, my father, Les Moody.
Yes!
Without him, I wouldn't have had any of this perspective or the ability to logically see through, because a lot of us, we create little placebo environments. The positive feedback, like the martial artists who talk about shooting bolts of energy across the room and their student goes flying. We can psych ourselves into believing something that doesn't exist. The one thing I'll say about Reiki and Qi and Prana is, even if you don't believe in it, you'll feel it.
You'll feel it.
It's something that you will be as tangible as anything else when it's actually on. Mm-hmm. If it's not on, I as a teacher and as a practitioner wouldn't want you to say that you feel it. Right. And that ability to actually stay grounded when you've got this very ungrounding thing that can happen when the energy rises. My father, Les Moody, thanks for grounding me.
Yeah, and just putting it out there, Pops. We're planning on bringing him to the East Coast when we get to the point of training existing therapists. Or people who want to do yoga. We'll be adding that into workshops that we're doing. So we are able to attune for Reiki, but also as massage therapists and body workers, I am planning to team up with my father-in-law, who's an awesome therapist, and I really want the East Coast to experience him, to get him out here to train. So, and maybe while he's here, we'll do a little talk so you'll get to know what he does as well. But as far as the space here in Pittsfield, so Joel will do the private or the personal Tai Chi, Qigong. If he could do some capoeira in here, that would be great. As well as the private yoga and Reiki. And as far as for myself, I will be doing, or I do, massage therapy. So that's the Swedish massage, as well as deep tissue, therapeutic. And the therapeutic massage is more focused work. So it's not going to be the full body massage. It's going to be, okay, so you've got issues going on in your rotator cuffs, or, you've got that tennis or golf elbow, or, your wrist. My pecs are really tight. So we're going to focus on that. So that's the therapeutic. So that's where it's different than the deep, even though it might use some deep skills or techniques within that particular modality, but it's just not going to be full body. So I told you I was going to tell you about the nurturing parent massage, and I'm really excited about this because being parents ourselves, especially with our older child, Caden, experienced growing pains. And, when I got my certification as a massage therapist, I was like, duh, let me use what I got. And it really, really helps. Really helps. He has a best friend who came over for the first time for a sleepover years ago and had it just as bad. And he will wake up in the middle of the night just crying because of so much pain in his legs. So I was able to do a particular flow and pressure point and using the positional therapy and the Thai massage blend. And his mom would tell me, well, yeah, sometimes I'll rub his legs, but then he'll start up again. Well, this particular night, didn't wake up anymore, didn't even remember anything. So I figured, you know what, this is great. But it's great for parents themselves to know how to do this. Because although it's wonderful to be able to come to a massage therapist and have someone else work on your child, it's like bonding when you can do it yourself. And it's better to do just before bedtime. So the nurturing parent massage modality will be me teaching you, the parent, how to do the growing pain flow, which, like I said, it includes massage techniques. It includes some trigger point therapy, some movement, so the Thai and the positional therapy, so you're placing the body in a way that the muscles are able to relax and let go more. And so I'm really excited about that. And then, so this particular session, you book it just like any other. And then you'll come in with your child and we'll use the massage table, but instead of me working on your child, I will guide you in understanding the proper pressure for your specific child, the flow, how to move without harming, and take you through that. So when you go home, you'll have something in your toolkit when your little one's crying at night. And then if you ever like, you know what, I don't think I got that right. I've been doing it for a couple of nights now. It doesn't feel like I'm doing this right. Then you can always come back for a refresher, which will be a shorter time. So like a little check-in. So that is on the menu, and I'm really excited about that one because I'm noticing that parents have been looking for something. You know, in my blog, I'm hearing people say, I used to have that, oh my goodness, my child has that, I don't know what to do. And you're so tempted to give them pain medication, already starting them off with pain medication when all they need is your loving touch and your loving guide. So yeah, so we'll be adding that in as well. I'll also be doing some personal yoga, especially for therapeutic purposes, and Reiki as well. So in case you did not get to come and you wanted to come to our first open house, no worries whatsoever. We will be having more. As a matter of fact, we have been talking about turning the open houses into like a little presentation where you could come to the studio. We can talk a little bit more about modalities. If you have any questions, or if you just missed it during the summer, you get to meet us in person and get to ask any question you want. And then when you actually come to the open houses or the talks, you'll get a discount on any of the services that we do in this space. So that's a nice little perk. Some other things I wanted to mention before we go is that, like I mentioned before, that usually after sessions when I'm working with clients, I like to give homework. I like to give things that you can do at home to help you really enhance the treatment you just received. And the way I do that now is through my blog. So I do have a blog. It's called Intuitive Spirit Healing Life, and the address for that is ishealinglife.com. And there you can learn more about modalities. So if you've ever been haven't had a massage before, been curious about, well, what is deep? I'm scared to get deep. You can learn a little bit more about that and really gain that knowledge. So when you're booking an appointment, you know exactly what your body needs and what your mind wants. And when you're able to satisfy that, you're able to have a great session. You get to learn more about Reiki. you get to just
And maybe experience it a little bit.
yeah, exactly. Also, if if I'm saying, well, to help your rum boys to release and to relax, here's some positional therapy things you could do. So those are also on the blog, and both of us also have a YouTube channel. Mine is under Intuitive Spirit Healing Arts. Joel's is under Modig Internal Disciplines, and we do video tutorials. So outside of classes, outside of sessions, just that little bit more to add on to your treatment and to your arsenal of relaxing and being healthy and enhancing your well-being, you have access to all of those resources from us. So our next open house is August 15th, same time, 6:30 to 8. And then the one after that is September 12th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. So both of those are p.m. When fall comes, we'll probably change those times. We'll continue to have them, especially if people are interested, but we'll probably have a different day and time. But at least for the rest of the summer, it's going to be on a Wednesday, third Wednesday except for September, because the third Wednesday is his birthday.
Third Thursday.
Oh, third Thursday. So tomorrow's third Thursday. Please catch it. We'll be there. Joel will be doing samples of capoeira. And we'll be at the August third Thursday as well. So be sure. Let me tell you, I'm so excited about having this office here. We're in the building that is where the Berkshire Nautilus is. So we're behind Hotel
North.
Thank you. Hotel North. We're right across the street from the Barrington Stage Company, and we're right above the Berkshire Nautilus. So if you are Nautilus... Oh, and we're in the complex of the Berkshire Healing Arts or the osteopath. So if your patients are Dr. Mullen or Stephen Kissel, I don't know all the other great doctors in this building's names, but they're all awesome. But if you are patients of theirs, just they know we're here. But we're in that same complex, just past the reception, down the hall, at the end of the hall, and you'll see all our stuff. And so to book appointments. So for mine, it will be ishealingarts.com, which is just a short for Intuitive Spirit Healing Arts. So ishealingarts.com. You can book online. You'll know what's available. And Joel to book.
Modig Internal Disciplines, and that's MODIG for Modig, and it's modigid.com.
Mm-hmm. So you could also book your appointments and classes with Joel. So if you want to do the group classes with Joel, he does that, but he does that at another location, which is on his website. But if you want Jimbo Jock.
Bill and Nancy Salvatore, wonderful people.
Yes, and but if you want to have more focused Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga with him, 42 Summer Street is where he does that, and you can book that with him on his website as well. And if you go on the website, you'll see how you can contact us via email. If you have any questions, you can always ask us. As you see, we are on Facebook, both of us, so you can leave us a message. And please catch the next open house, because we invite your questions, and we love the interaction and get to explain a little bit more of who we are, and we'll also do demos in the open houses with more people, so you'll get to experience, well, what's the difference between a regular massage and a deep? What is the positional therapy, and how do I do this? Oh, Qigong. Oh yeah, I feel that energy. So you'll get to experience all of that when you come to a open house in person. But yeah, absolutely. So I think we're going to go ahead and end it there. For those of you who have joined us today, thank you so much. Pass this along to anyone you think will be interested. And we are here to do massages, to do a lot of different things. And like I said, it's easy to book with us online. We go through Schedulicity. So if all you can remember is Schedulicity, you can go through them to find us and book your appointments, your classes, and everything there.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining us, and hope to see you soon.
Yeah, see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day.